Now, you know shit got to be real when you got a warrant out for your arrest trying to do your damn job. But that is exactly what is going on with the Texas Democrats. And y'all remember when I talked about this, when Mr. I'm going to go over here and take pictures with foreign dignitaries instead of making the federal phone calls so that my people can get aid when there's a storm going on and it's absolutely devastating my area. Hot Wheels Abbott has basically stated that, if they didn't show up for session on Monday, which is, now Tuesday, that he was going to start issuing warrants out for their arrests. Baby, what you gonna do with that? Because you know damn well, as well as everybody else who has a modicum of education. And see, they're so quick to tell, people that, go to school, do this, do that. Okay, we go to school, we read the documents, we learn the shit, and now you mad because we're using it? Because here's the other thing that I am finding. A lot of people are not aware that each state has their own constitution. And of course, in Texas constitution, it's allowed for them to break quorum. So they're not doing anything legal here. You're just pissed off because you thought that it was okay to, say that they have to redraw these maps, do all the things, and have all these meetings with no maps. And now you turn up with a map, and now, everybody's like, I know you fucking lying. And we're like, okay, you gonna either fix this or we not gonna vote on this shit. And they're just like, oh, well, whatever's clever, we just gonna do this and take, whatever we need so that we can go ahead and cheat and win. And then the Democrats was like, oh, you thought. And so they did. Basically, this is what has happened at this point. Now, here's the thing. Like I said, be clear. Outside of Texas, that shit is a fucking piece of paper. Like, put that shit in a frame. You're just doing this to, try to. Well, I can't say what you. Well, I was going to say he was going to try to do it to stump his feet. That's not nice. Well, he was going to do it to throw a tantrum. He can't because, again, outside of Texas, that shit don't mean nothing. And everybody knows it. So now you have just made your state a bigger ass joke because, again, you don't say nothing to Rafael Cruz over there whenever he be on vacation, whenever situations be going down and they absolutely need his ass back in the state. But God forbid these black people, these black leaders are out here trying to rally up and do what they need to do for their constituents. And now we're going all slave catcher on them. Got it. Now, do remember, at the end of the day, Crockett and many of the other House representatives are absolutely what? Attorneys. They know what the fuck they're doing. But I also want you to remember that all House seats are up for re-election. So remember these motherfuckers who was sitting in those sessions today voting to arrest their colleagues. You got to be a miserable motherfucker to sit here and try to stand in the way of democracy and whatnot and be like, oh, I'm gonna arrest my colleagues. That's what I try to tell you all the time. You gotta work to work. You damn sure ain't no friends with nobody. You get that paycheck, get the fuck home. But anyways. And let's not forget when the Speaker of the House decided to send them people home early because he didn't want to answer those questions about the Epstein files. But this is a problem for these people to be out here fighting for democracy, literally democracy. Literally trying to stop a process that is going to stifle the voices of the minority. But y'all were okay with that. Make that shit make sense. And the next time you want to ask, what the Democrats are doing and, why does it seem like they're not fighting back? And a lot of instances, yes, they could do a little something better that will, have a little bit more of teeth and leave the, I guess, morality politics alone for a little bit. But look at this. Sometimes there isn't any other action for them to be able to take. And sometimes they have to be willing to take this sort of action. And they have to be willing to know, somebody's going to be supporting them because these people left their homes, their families, all the things so that they could stand up for democracy, so they could stand up for their constituents and say, hey, look, we hear you. And we're going to do all that we can on our end so that, they hear us and in essence, hear you. But again, at the end of the day, like I told y'all time and time again, please get cozy with your state's constitution because all of them have them. And if you think that they're not going to do the shit in other states, please, baby, understand something. Now, we are glad that other blue states are standing up and you hear people like New York, you hear Illinois, you hear California. All of these, but it's going to have to be more because we're going to need numbers to show them that we're not going to take this shit lying down. Like, we see what you're out here doing. We see it. And the fact that you all are trying to pull up old shit and do, as much as you can to cause as much havoc and damage as you can. we have to make sure that we are standing with these people and making sure they know that they're not by themselves. Now, another one that entered the chat was Democracy Forward, who stepped in to let them know, or let Abbott know that he is not a king. Because remember how I told y'all he was going to get his little pit bull, Paxton over there, who really needs to be worried about that mortgage situation and that Mistress Madness he's entered in. Because baby, y'all had a lot to tell me in them chats. But anyways, there's a process, and no, he cannot go and just remove these people from their seats and whatnot, claiming, a derelict of power or duties, and saying that they have relinquished their seats. Because another one to look for is that Jolanda Jones. Now I know y'all love Crockett, but y'all absolutely please follow her as well, because she went ahead and released her statement and let them know ain't nobody scared, and ain't nobody relinquished their seat neither. Go find somebody else to play with that's safe, because she was like, I ain't the one. Now, what have we learned? America's not a real place, and the fact that these people are out here on the run so they can fight for democracy is just wild and not been on our bingo card. But okay, I guess at this point, what is? Baby, y'all be well.
Like and subscribe to Mom's channel.